Hi, I'm Priyanka. I'm the winemaker at Signorello Estate, and I'm so excited to be here today for Drink a Bottle with one of my oldest friends in Napa Valley, Meghan Zobeck, the winemaker at Burgess Cellars.
Priya!
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, hanging in there.
Harvest?
Yeah.
Harvest is treating you well?
It's, we got to wear real clothes and put a face
Scrub
on.
our fingernails
Yeah.
and get some dirt out?
Yeah. you don't really get to do this very often.
No.
No.
Usually my nails are purple till at least another month from now.
Winemaker hands, it's a thing.
Exactly.
How's harvest going for you?
It's good. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I just have 2 picks left.
Yep.
So then we're gonna be doing a bunch of pressing, and honestly, it's an early year for me at least, so I'm stoked to kind of almost be on the other side of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about our first harvest and when we met. And I believe that was 2014.
2014. Should we drink some wine while we do it?
Yeah, hell yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
Do you want me to open mine first?
Sure.
Okay. I brought a Yuli Barbera.
Ooh,
So
nice.
this was a winery that I did a harvest at in, 2012. It was my second harvest ever. I had been dying to go to Italy. I went there after my harvest in Chile, which was my first harvest. And Fabrizio Yuli is the winemaker there. And so it's like an organic, family run. I'm blaming it on harvest, lack of sleep.
Go.
Jesus Christ. I'm good at putting wine in bottles, but taking it out is another story.
Once it's in the bottle, it's not our deal anymore.
I'm like, okay, this is why.
So was that your first time in Italy?
It was my second time in Italy, my first time in Piedmont.
And what made you want to do a harvest in Piedmont?
I love the wine.
Me too.
Yeah, so Fabrizio Yuli, who's the winemaker there, is incredible, and his wife, Summer. Oh my goodness. So I lived at their house, and they have like a 600-year-old house. They live in this like small village of like 300 people. I was a vegetarian at the time, but Fabrizio's mom was an award-winning slow food chef.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so she had this little bistro in her house, like in the main floor of her house, 3-table bistro.
Nice.
So cute. So you would just walk in, and she didn't have a menu. You just ate whatever she was cooking that day.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so she actually, sad story, her husband died before I got there, so she actually closed the restaurant, but she cooked for us, which was incredible. So I wasn't oh Jesus, I wasn't
You got,
oh my God. Fired. Now we have to use the shoe.
And on some TV too.
God damn it.
It's okay, go back in there.
I'm planning on it. We're getting this wine. Maybe I should just shove it in.
Are we allowed to say
I
that's what
haven't
she
had
said jokes in
good-
here? Sorry, my bad.
Yep. I haven't had great luck on camera getting wine out of
Yeah, there you go.
wine
you
out
got
of
it.
bottles. Clearly, I need to focus. I'm good job security for SOMs everywhere.
Perfect.
Yeah, everyone feels very comfortable with their job security when I'm opening bottles.
Wait till I have to open mine.
This is very scary.
Yeah.
No, you're probably just gonna pull it straight out.
Oh,
Oh my God, oh my God.
got it, you got
Da,
it,
da,
you
da,
got it.
da.
Pro!
Woo!
Absolute pro, look at
I need a
that.
glass.
All right, I'm excited to try this.
Yes. So anyway, Fabrizio Yuli, fucking awesome. Excuse my language. It's harvest. We're going all in, Priya. It's harvest. I'm tired.
No
We're
filters.
gonna- yeah.
There's never been any filters
Cheers.
here. Cheers.
Indeed. So he doesn't sulfur his wines, and they usually taste incredible in Italy. Sometimes via transport, they can get a little, there's a little bit of bottle variation, but I've only had good luck, and this is my last bottle, so I wanted to share it with
special.
you.
Thank you.
Because we have a lot of harvest stories to share and stuff like that.
We do.
But he's like one of my favorite winemakers. I like working with him. I just fell in love with wine. It was like an experience where everything you had ever fantasized wine to be, it was actually that there. Like he would wake up at 5 a.m. and he'd be so stoked to get on his tractor. Yeah. He was just so happy. He loved every single vine he had. There were we had like dinner parties every night. Like he would have like artists would stop by or like mushroom foragers or people would like pay him to like hunt truffles on his property. Like it was just like, is this real? Like it was so crazy.
And I feel like that is something that is so exceptional when you do harvest in Europe, particularly. And there are some amazing producers that think of wine the same way, you know, across the world. But wine really is, it's an agricultural product at the end of it, but it's meant to have with food and it's meant to have with people.
It's hedonistic.
It's such a social beverage. And when you combine it as a part of you making the product as well, I think it just becomes so much more meaningful and just so much more special. There's like that personal touch that comes in, and you can really taste it through this. This is spectacular.
So fun to share. Like it's, I don't know, I loved the culture of wine at that house. Like it was just like every night, someone like they didn't need an invitation. They would just stop by.
Open house.
Like Mama would be making the food. Yeah. It was incredible. I was like, I guess I'm eating meat now, and I did, and it was awesome.
All for a good cause.
She had like whatever, some local like gentleman like killed a boar and brought it to her, and she like broke it down and made ravioli out of it. And I was like, all right, I'm
impressed.
Eating this. It was like over the course of a couple days, and then she had this like 300-year-old like ravioli rolling machine that she was like trying to teach me how to use.
Love it.
And she spoke a dialect that wasn't, it was like somewhere in between Italian and French, and it meant so much to me to have like someone's mom just like really want to teach me something, like pass that to me even though I wasn't related. Like it was just really cool. Like it was such a great experience. So I wanted to share it with you.
Yeah, no, this is so special. And something about Italian wines that I think always stands out to me is just like that more metallic, almost like iodine kind of character. And the minute you taste it in the wine, you just know. You know, you're like, oh, I'm back in Italy. And this wine just does it for you. I mean, I love everything about it, just the texture, the length on it. This is a special bottle. Thank you for sharing this.
Yes, of course. I'm trying to think which harvest you and I met each other in.
I think it was 2014.
14? Were you at Dalla Valle then?
I was.
And I was at Eagle.
Yeah.
Good harvest.
Yeah.
That was a good harvest.
Yeah.
I liked 2014.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then we realized that we lived just down the road from each other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you would put together these outdoor movie nights, which I thought was so fun. I mean, outdoor movie nights are fun regardless.
Yeah.
But the way you did it, you would have a theme, right? So if we were watching a French movie, everyone was bringing in French food.
Yeah.
I think we tried to talk in French. It got better as the bottles got consumed.
We drank French wine. And then we discovered that we had a shared interest in concerts and dance parties.
Yes.
We've tried to have like normal dinners where we're like, we're just going to the city and having a dinner. And it never just turns out to be just a dinner.
But I feel like those are some of the most special moments because most of our moments have always been so spontaneous. And that is something that I love about our relationship. And something about spontaneity speaks to me. And I feel like even with this wine here, you can kind of think about what it was like for him, you know, while he was making it. Just being like spontaneously, this fruit tastes amazing.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
I'm gonna maybe put it into, I'm gonna do a barrel ferment instead of a tank.
Right.
Or something like that. And smaller producers that put their heart and soul into the wine that they're making, it speaks through. This wine's delicious.
So I'm assuming you're going back to work after we drink this glass of wine?
I am going to, yes. I'm at that time in a harvest where it's a lot of logistics work. You know,
totally.
You're planning, you're trying to plan all of the different picks and when the fruit comes in and what's gonna happen at the winery. And it's probably the funnest time for me. What has been the craziest harvest for you?
So I haven't collapsed a tank or pumped red wine into a white wine tank or anything like that. But yeah, I think some of my craziest stories were actually, so I did like 4 harvests overseas before coming back because I really wanted to get that experience before coming back. And so some of my craziest experiences were travel in between harvests because I just kept switching hemispheres. Yep. So then I would stay and travel and try to visit different places. So my last overseas harvest was in the Barossa Valley.
Love.
Yes, and so afterwards, I was trying to travel all around Australia, and I went to Melbourne. So because I used to work for the Broncos, one of the Australian football teams came to practice with us at the Broncos. So I had, like, during training
Yeah.
camp, it's like high altitude training, like whatever. So I had connections with, oh, it was the Melbourne Storm. So I went to go like watch a practice in a game. It was really funny because the general manager was like, okay, I have to take like this PR call. You just stay here. This guy's American too. And I was like, okay. He's like, just stand with him, talk to him for a little while. And so it was kind of shorter than me, male, but he was like very well dressed and
Okay.
like kind of had this like nervous energy. And I was like, who
Oh.
is this guy?
Yeah.
And so he just started talking to me and he was like, he's like, cool, so what do you do? And I'm like, well, I used to work in football, now I'm making wine or like, doing harvest, trying to make wine. And he's like, cool. So I have a movie coming out about me and Leonardo DiCaprio is going to play me. They asked me, do I want Leonardo DiCaprio or do I want Brad Pitt? And I said, Leo. Leo's my guy.
I would also choose Leo.
And I was like, who is this guy? Like, I was just like, this guy must be stoned. Like, I was just like, what? I'm like, am I being punked? And he was like, yeah, so, like, I sold a bunch of stock, like penny stocks, got super rich. And then I, got into some trouble, went to jail. And I was in a jail cell with Cheech and Chong. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like looking around like, what is happening? And he was like, and then, Cheech told me you should really write a book about your life. He's like, so I did.
Sounds like something Cheech would say too.
I guess, I don't know. I was like, he's like, so I did. So my movie's coming out. And I was like, this guy is so full of shit. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's crazy. I'm like, I don't know how he got here, like whatever. So then I come back to the States and I go to the movie Wolf of Wall Street and I'm sitting there watching it. And as I'm watching it and I'm seeing Leonardo DiCaprio
Yep.
and I'm hearing the story unfold, I was like, what the F? And then at the end, Jordan Belfort comes
Actually
onto the
comes.
stage because he cameos in his own movie. And I was
Right.
like, holy shit, that was Jordan Belfort of Wolf of Wall Street and Leonardo DiCaprio actually played him.
He did.
I was like, holy fucking shit, I can't believe I met that guy.
That
like,
is.
isn't that nuts? Like, I was just out there like, I was like, for sure this guy is high. Like, there's no way that this is a true story. And then it was like, okay.
That is amazing.
So that was crazy, but that's like the spontaneity thing. Like, I love not planning stuff.
Totally.
And like, stuff like that happens. You meet Jordan fucking Belfort.
Did he offer you Quaaludes?
He didn't.
Okay, good. Maybe he has changed.
He probably has some, though. I think he might have been on them while I was talking to
Was
him.
he in Australia? Because
He was in Australia because he can't come back to the US.
Okay, yeah, just checking. Okay, good. That is insane.
Yeah,
Oh
crazy.
man, I don't really have a story to top that, but
Did you explode a tank?
I didn't. But okay, I have a story that happened in between harvests. I don't know if that counts. So there was a point at which I went back to India because I really wanted to work in India.
Yeah.
And that was always my intention, right? Was I'm gonna come here, get this education, and then go back and work in the industry back home. And so I did, and the opportunity that took me back was barrel sales. So I had a month in between that, and I decided to do this volunteer program. And it was for high school students from the United States, Europe, all over the place that would come to India as this like summer session and learn about education and then learn about how to create educational methods in spite of language, which was really cool.
Cool.
So one of the mentees that was in this program, as the kind of mentor of this group, you had to call in with their family once they landed in India to let them know, hi, I'm Priyanka. I'm the one who's kind of, taking care of your child, your grandchild, whatever it may be. And this one kid came up to me. I won't say his name to protect him. And he said, hey, my grandfather paid for this trip. It would be great if you could just speak with him. So I did. And I was talking to this guy, and he said, his name's Bob. And so I spoke to Bob, and I said, hey, Bob, I'm Priyanka. He's just arrived. We're going to have a great time. This is my phone number. In case that you have any questions, let me know. Feel free to reach out anytime you want to. And he talked about how he went to India, and it was just such an inspiring place. And I was like, oh, my God, this is the nicest, kindest person that I've ever spoken to. And when I look at his sheet to kind of mark off, that I spoke to them, I saw that his last name was Dylan.
So, what?
Yeah, I spoke to Bob Dylan.
No way. That's awesome. That might beat Jordan Belfort.
No,
I
no,
gotta
no,
be
no.
honest. I think that actually beats Jordan Belfort. Sorry, Jordan.
Should we taste another bottle?
Yes, let's do it. Yeah.
So I feel like you and I have shared some really great wines
Yes, we have.
over the years.
I know. I love it.
And one of the things that we always talk about whenever we open a wine is the stories behind it.
Yes, totally.
And one of our favorite things is these really kind of more special bottlings that have come from producers that not really a lot of people know about.
Yes.
So I brought a 99 Pietro Rossi from Dollar Valley Vineyards. And this wine is actually 100% Sangiovese.
I love that.
And for me, when I saw this label for the first time, I absolutely fell in love with it. So that's actually an illustration of the property that their family friend made for them. And when Gustav and Naoko Dallavalle bought this property in the late 80s, Gustav was from Italy, so there's a little bit of a vein there.
Totally.
And he wanted to grow Sangiovese. So he planted Sangiovese on the property. And they made wine. They made this Pietro Rossi for a number of years till economically, you know, the vines weren't giving enough fruit. And so then, by then, the Maya cuvee had really taken off. Their Cab Franc was something that they got like global acclaim for. And unfortunately, they don't make this label anymore. But for me, it's just such a cool wine that came from that awesome property.
Yes.
And I'm gonna do it ultra slowly. so that
I'm like,
that was like the beer we had the other day. That just exploded.
I'm so happy you exploded that beer because
one
that
gap, one
that made
camera.
me feel really so much better about myself. Woo! Way to go. So I'm obsessed with those soils.
So that's what Pietro Rossi means. So Pietro Rossi means red rocks, which is, you know, that brilliant red color is what this property is known
so
for.
Sexy.
It really is, and
I
it
love
makes
wines
for
on that soil.
They do. They have this just like depth for some reason, you know, when they come from those soils. And
it's like the same vein that runs down into Eagle.
That's right.
Into Screaming Eagle. So there's like this beautiful like red vein of soils, and I just think the wines that come off of it are so beautiful. Like they've got like this polished tannin, and they're just like sexy. I don't know how to describe them other than that.
Probably and I wish there was more Sangiovese in Napa Valley. You know, I feel like it's kind of making a comeback. We're really starting to see producers say what else and, you know, plant varieties that unfortunately kind of died out in the 90s and early 2000s. So I'm excited for kind of just this experimental thing, which I hope that will really take off and like bring this diversity to Napa.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. That's delicious. I think it's really fun to think about, like, when we look at old Napa photos and you see, like, all the greats in one spot. Like, you see, like, Kathy Corison next to, like, a Mondavi, next to, like, all these people. And then, like, when we're with our tasting group, which is full of winemakers, like, you know, like Maya and Braden and all these folks, like, I'm like, holy shit, that next photo... That's us. Like, eventually they're going to be looking at us like that one day, I hope.
I hope so.
I don't screw a bunch of fermentations. But I think about that. I'm like, we always think about history as if it's in, like, the past.
The past, yeah.
And, like, we're creating it right now, for better or for worse. Like, we're creating it right now. And it's, like, fun to think about, like, it used to just be a bunch of dudes. And now I'm, like, looking at, like, you, me, Maya, like, Julia, like, all these folks, like, you know, Graham, like, that are, like, creating wines like this and whatever. And I'm like, it's really interesting to think that, like, all right, that's us now. Like, we think about it as if it's a past tense thing, but, like, we're doing it now. Like, we're creating history now. And, like, I look at you and I'm like, damn, like, Priyanka is, like, creating these wines that, like, in 20 years, I'm going to, like, have this wine in the cellar and be like, my friend Priyanka made this, you know? And I'm going to be, like, so proud to, like, pull it out and pour it. And
we're going to pour it next to each other.
Yes. At a dance party, because we'll still be going to dance parties. Screw everyone else. But it's like a fun thing to think about during harvest that like each year we're kind of like creating this thing that we might like share and look back on later and you know.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. And I think when you look at the history of Napa, so many of these amazing stories that you and I have, over the years gravitated and discussed about came ultimately from friendships.
Totally.
And
That's so true.
and it was
Oh, I love that.
people that, said, I'm gonna spot you a ton of grapes because I think
Yes.
you're a fantastic
Oh my
winemaker
God,
and
yes.
you're gonna do fantastic
Right.
things with it.
When I'm like,
And when-
Priyanka, I need barrels.
Yeah, exactly. And when we're
Help.
texting each other going, hey, do you have an extra white wine barrel? I felt short. Or
Right.
what's acids looking like for you
Yes,
this year?
exactly.
And
Yeah.
and that sense of community is so strong here in this
is.
valley. And
It's heartwarming.
it is really, it really is, and I feel like there is so much, there is a conversation that needs to be had, but there is so much to say about how welcoming this valley is also at the
Yes.
same time,
No, everyone roots for each other is
We
really
do.
nice.
Yeah.
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 And those relationships and those friendships and that support towards each other lifts this all as a whole,
Totally.
and we all have different tastes in wine.
Yes.
And we all like very different wines, and
Which makes it
we've had
fun.
arguments about the same wine. And that's what makes for fantastic
That's
conversation.
why we like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'd be boring if we all liked the same stuff, and but I think what really stands out for me right now in Napa is this sense of conscientious farming. And
Yes.
people are really taking a stand about, really preserving, like we're already an agricultural preserve. We're
Yep.
one of probably the only one in the United States. And people are really taking a stand towards that preservation. And I think
For
that's
sure.
so valuable. And that comes down, to people like you that say, I'm not just here to make the wine, I'm here to make sure that we have old vineyards. I'm here to make sure that these vineyards are tended to, and that story resonates in the wines and in the consumer, and it's a whole circle that I'm gonna bring to
Right.
you. And I think, it's so inspiring just to chat with people and talk about that stuff and be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the next iteration of Napa, right? Is
Yeah.
like, I mean, I know you and I are very passionate about like responsible farming and things like that, and it's like it's more than just wine. Like
Absolutely.
we can actually, I mean, I don't think you should limit yourself to thinking like, oh, it's just this luxury product. It's like, all right, if I have 100 acres and I can farm responsibly and I can influence another person to farm responsibly,
Totally.
and if we can do that, like it means so much in addition to obviously creating beautiful wines, but like it transcends that, which I think is really important. And I think like you and I and our friends are very passionate about that. It transcends the bottle for sure.
It does.
Yeah, definitely. We have to get back to work.
We do. And that is the reality of winemaking.